Great game out there today, boys. That was awesome.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, guys, check it out. We got the new fifth quarter jerseys and a note from Tommy. Tommy says, best of luck this season, and remember to keep the fifth quarter tradition alive. Whoa! Hey, guys, look. We made it to the R-Bar.
I'm already ready to go.
Our plays were on fire today, boys.
Yeah, so these wings.
And the drinks are secured.
Cheers to our bar.
Fifth quarter.
Meet the MSU players here at the R-Bar after every home game.
Well, I meant to wear my new Alpine Touch sweatshirt from our good buddy Chad, but I was wearing it earlier, but then I had to take it off because I didn't want to get dirty. It's white. It's a long story, but I got a treadmill in my garage now. So
Wow,
yeah,
treadmill in the garage.
yeah, so we were doing some heavy lifting earlier today. I didn't want to get those, so I had this whole plan. We were going to do this podcast with some Alpine Touch branded gear on. But anyways, thanks to our friends at Alpine Touch. They're helping us get down to Frisco, and Chad's the man, and it's a great Montana-made company. Dates all the way back to the 1950s. They've been around forever, and I know Christmas has passed, but still a great gift for anybody in your life. Visit alpinetouch.com. What's up, man? We haven't actually got a chance to break down what went down in Bozeman. I guess almost a week ago now. Merry Christmas to everybody. A week ago, as of right now, on this Saturday. So, just what'd you think? What'd you think of just the Super Brawl, watching the Cats and the Grizz collide at Bobcat Stadium a week ago?
Yeah, I guess, Colter, I'm not sure what you're referring to. Something happened last week in Bozeman. Let me rack my brain. Oh, the biggest sporting event in Montana history is what they call it. When I went back and looked I really tried to debunk that. I was like, there's no way that this is the biggest sporting event in Montana history. And it was. I dug, I tried, I angled it. And it was, national championship on the line for two teams that were absolutely surging, two teams that were on a collision course, and two teams that didn't disappoint. I mean, I think that you got the best of what either team likely could have offered. Whether or not you think that's a slight to the Grizz or, maybe overhyping what Montana State was able to do, I do think that was about exactly what the two teams ended up being, was a 24-point team versus a 44-point team. And, take away one score here or there, take away a pick six, or take away a don't go for it from the 3-yard line for Montana. And you talk about a 10 to 14-point game is what I thought that game was going to be, is in favor of Montana State, who is more well-rounded, a better football team. And that's kind of how it played out. That doesn't make me right. That makes Montana State who they are, and that makes Montana, while hot and confident, exactly who they are as well.
I thought it was interesting because there was a lot of build-up, obviously, to this game, but there was a lot of juice behind the Grizz because they dropped 50-plus on South Dakota State and South Dakota in consecutive weeks. And I think people thought that maybe that aggressiveness offensively, that explosiveness offensively, would be enough to overcome the big time matchup advantages Montana State had in this game that we knew that they had from the first. People wanted to say, okay, November 22nd, Montana State dominated Montana up front. 28 days later, it's going to be different because of all of these other factors, like throwing the ball down the field and getting all these playmakers involved and letting it rip and being creative and running the Statue of Liberty and all these different things. But it wasn't. That was not the case. It was a back and forth until it wasn't, and then it was an avalanche. And I think that 5-minute span, it's easy to forget. This is a 25-point game at the end of the day. It was a 4-point game, 27-23, with 12 minutes and 5 seconds to play. Then it was a 25-point game with 7 minutes to play, and there was no scoring in the last 7 minutes of the game. That 5 minutes and 5 seconds of game time was as much of a fever pitch blur of any football game I've ever been in. I had to go. We didn't even go out after the game because I had to go back to the Airbnb. You had to go home because it was your son's birthday, and I I had to go back to the Airbnb and like rewatch that section of the game multiple times to be able to like comprehend what had happened and the way the Montana State had blown it open. Just so crazy how insane that stadium became during that run. And it was so crazy too, because Bobby Houck's teams have done that to so many teams over the years where it's a tit for tat, toe for toe, back and forth, punch for punch, and then the other team just completely unravels and the Grizz just avalanche them. And the other team just melts. What happened to the Grizz on Saturday? And that was one of the craziest and most sort of like surreal moments of my entire 19 years covering the Big Sky Conference. It was unreal. What a job by the Cats to get that thing done.
Yeah, and I think as you mentioned, of past Grizz teams, past Montana teams would do that to people. Past North Dakota State teams, past South Dakota State teams. That is part of the ethos of how you take them into deep water, right? The Jeff Choate concept of that you want in some ways in the first half to not keep it close. You're happy to blow the doors off. But if that doesn't come organically, you allow that to happen. You want them to show as much of their cards as possible. And once they show their cards, you knock them out, slit the throat, and take them out to deep water. And that is, I mean, exactly what Montana State was able to do. And you talk about that, sure, that momentum, that avalanche that happened during that stretch you're talking about was probably more overwhelming than some of those past teams I mentioned. But also, we're talking about, there's different stakes here when we talk about the quote unquote Super Brawl. I mean, we're talking about so much on the line that then when it happens and the avalanche actually ensues, of course it's greater and more than anything you can ever imagine. When I watched back, Colter, that momentum swing, you watched a Montana State team that was supremely confident on both sides of the football. You watched a Montana State team that was ready to, as I mentioned, there's no talking about this game before it kicked off. You could talk about it for a week, but the 10 hours before, there's nothing left to say. Someone has to go take it. Montana State went and took that football game.
What's the most indelible memory from this game for you? Like, what was the play or the moment or just the image that will last in your mind?
Oh man, I mean, it can't be really chalked up to one. I would say I have a couple. I thought that the tension pregame on the field was palpable.
Totally.
I thought that both teams were nervous. I thought that there was, the hooping and hollering and the trying to get pumped up and stuff. Like it was a little bit restrained because people were just flat out nervous. I mean, Cats and Grizz. I thought both sides. The sun was still up, which I don't know, Colter. You'd have to answer this as the historian of all this. Is I don't think I've ever photographed a football game in late December at 2 p.m. They've all been at night recently. If you get this deep in the playoff, they're night games. It's 8 o'clock and it's a different vibe. So
that was the most profound part of the scenery. They're either been at night or they've been at noon.
At noon.
We've never covered a game in December that I can remember where the sun sets during the game. That was crazy. Like to watch it go from day to night and to watch like the sun set on the Grizz season sort of symbolically as this was happening. That part was so wild. Actually, I should have written something. I should have written that into one of my stories because it literally was like while the sun was out, it was a back and forth. And as the sun went down, so did the Grizz.
It's if I would have stayed in Bozeman for without my son's birthday, I would have given it to you. But when you talk about that stadium, the Grizz became in shadows as they always do, as the away team always does early on. And the Cats stay in the sun. Even when it's still sunny out, the Cats are bright. When that sun's hitting your face in Bozeman, Montana, it's warm and beautiful, and it cuts right through that thin air. And the Grizz, cold the entire time. You're in the shadow the entire time. Bobby Houck wearing a ball cap pregame comes back out with a beanie on. he's a little too cold.
I
But
got
wouldn't put the
confused doing
jacket
the
on.
photo. I got confused doing the photo galleries because I was like, okay, was this the same game? And I was like, no, it definitely is the same game. He's wearing the same clothes. He changed his hat.
I'm not talking any smack on Coach Houck here. I have a ton of respect for Bobby Houck and everything he across the board. You guys all get it. I don't have to expand on that. He was chattering in the pregame and came back out with just a beanie on and was cold. And I just do not understand how Montana is going to go into Bozeman. How many times have they lost in a row, Colter?
5, 6. They
5, 6.
Won there since 2015.
And then they've won once or twice since 2000.
Twice in the last 10 period in the rivalry matchups.
Let's wear coats and let's bring extra gear and let's not deny that you're in the shadow and it's 10 degrees outside. Like the temperature says 25 degrees, whatever, man. So my most indelible memory, as you mentioned, is like what memory is going to stick with me is it's that setting sun, which as a photographer, it's so hard to deal with that shadow in the middle of the field. I can't tell you how many stops, the manual settings that you have to work to try to get that. And I feel like I'm pretty good. And I talk to other people and I'm like, man, they don't know either. It's so challenging to deal with. So that's, the tension is number one, the game atmosphere and just the sun and the lighting and the time of day, like this Western showdown at 2 p.m., like something that no one's ever done. And then of course the Taco Dollar 3rd and 20, right? I mean, that's the thing that will stick in your mind watching Taco after he got, knocked down, wasn't really alive for a moment. He goes and as he's running, maybe hits the 20-yard line and he's just smiling. Through his helmet, he's just literally smiling. Like he was understanding the moment 5-6 seconds before it even culminated. And what a moment for a tremendous player like him.
Does he have the most unique personality of any legendary player that we've covered? Because he's a legend at this point already, and he still has another year left. But I mean, the dude has made like at least 5 off the top of my head, like straight up game-winning plays. Like there's the catch against Northern Arizona when he was a true freshman from Tommy Millot up the sideline to set up the game-winning field goal. I know this year the punt return against NAU was in the second quarter, but like the Cats were up against it down in Flag, and he has a 92-yard punt return that flips the game on its head, and they run away with it. But he's had some big-time plays in his career. But he has like such this. He's unwaveringly confident without having like any brashness to him, but yet he is like the most brash guy on the field. It's hard to describe because he has such like a boyish way of being. Like the playground style that he plays with is crazy, man. It's second to none. It's so unique, and I hope people appreciate it because he is just a one of a kind type of guy, let alone player.
Yeah, I think that the playground style is a good way to describe it. But Colter, when I think of him, I remember someone that was on the other side of this rivalry. I think of Jerry Louis McGee, a guy that just plays with tremendous, a guy that plays with his heart on his sleeve. He plays with just who he is. He doesn't try to be the toughest guy in the room, doesn't try to be this or that, the other thing. Plays with a smile on his face, catching the punt so fearlessly. I think that he's just a guy that has a tremendous amount of confidence in his physical traits and also his mental preparation, right? We can get into all that, I think that he truly believes in who Taco Dollar is. I mean, that's just a guy that plays with that level of confidence, comes from somewhere that is likely loved and supported and has his brother right there with him. And all those things seem to play into exactly the kind of person you see on the field.
Bobcat Nation, we're so proud to have played for Montana State.
And wouldn't be where we are today without this program.
Now it's our turn to give back. Bobcat Collective is making a real difference for current and future athletes.
Montana State gave us a foundation to pursue our NFL dreams.
Join us in building something special because when we invest in our athletes, we invest in the future of Bobcat football. Go Cats.
Go Cats.
Go Cats.
Go Cats.
Join the collective today. Go Cats.
Breakdown, proudly presented by the Bobcat Collective at Montana State. The Bobcat Collective is the NIL collective that serves Montana State University student athletes. The collective has partnered with Montana State to connect fans, alumni, businesses, and local nonprofits with Montana State student athletes. Opportunities through the collective allow student athletes to earn compensation while serving the greater Montana State University community. Sign up now for memberships and enjoy automatic entry into raffles for free tickets while supporting the bright minds at Montana State. They have multiple different membership tiers, and you can also be a one-time supporter, and you can also business partner or corporate supporter. Visit bobcatcollective.com for more. So what do you think was the primary factors in the way that Montana State was able to avalanche Montana?
I mean, it's been the same all year, right? It's plain and simple. It's the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football. You win the line of scrimmage. The most simple fans this day and age understand what that means. Even if you don't understand the nuances of play calling or leverage or what a team is trying to do, you understand what the line of scrimmage means. And when two bodies meet and one goes this way, everyone understands that. It's simple. That's what the SEC thrives on. It's what, these conversations about the Big Ten versus the SEC. I mean, I think those kind of conversations break down to, well, who can dominate the line of scrimmage? When you talk about the Missouri Valley versus the Big Sky, you talk about who can dominate the line of scrimmage. That's where Montana State has found themselves in 3 national championships in 5 years, is because they've been able to own the line of scrimmage. And honestly, as impressed as I am with Montana State's ability to own the line of scrimmage, I'm almost as impressed with Montana's lack of ability to, in the sense of being able to hang in a game like this. Like they easily could have got killed in this game. I mean, they didn't have a lot of answers at times, and they manufactured answers through effort, through guys making plays. I mean, that third quarter is the biggest sequence of the game as far as remembering that Montana played, is that they come out and blow up a play, knock Dowler down, then blow up the reverse play to Adam Jones. And you're talking about some immense physicality, which was just dudes making plays. Which is what the defense and what the team is really is built around. So the fact that Montana was able to lack at the line of scrimmage, lack at the quote unquote point of attack, and still stay in that game is a huge credit to them.
Well, it's such a huge credit to the top end talent too, right? I mean, like the offensive line is not great in the interior run game, yet Gilman still got rolling, and then Montana State readjusted and shut him back down. Like in the second quarter, where he had a couple runs that were just ridiculous, including that touchdown run that really helped give Montana life going into halftime. And same deal. Like, imagine how good a guy like Peyton Wing would be if he had a Tonga Takai playing in front of him, or Caleb Kidder, or like Ty Gregorek used to say, somebody with an two axe handles wide. Like, give that guy a guy like that in front of him. Holy cow! He would be even better than he already is. I mean, when you outrush a team, Montana State outrushed Montana by, I think, 75 yards in the first one, and they outrushed them by over 150 in the second one this year. And I think that's the tale of the tape. Like, you can talk about this and that. Like, if you're the Grizz, you can talk about the ball didn't bounce your way, and he had unlucky breaks and stuff like that in the first game. That's fine. You still couldn't get off the field when Montana State had 7 minutes to go in the game, and they salted away the game and kneeled it down in your own red zone. That's the game. Like, every other thing doesn't matter. You had a chance. You had them in 3rd and medium and 3rd and long 3 times, and a 4th and 1, and you couldn't get off the field. That's the game. In Bozeman, like Brett Vigen says, if we win the turnover battle and we outrush you, especially if we outrush you by over 150, you're not going to beat us. Period. You're not beating us. Point blank. So that I agree with you. That's just the remaining tail of the tape, and I think that's probably where you're frustrated if you're the Grizz, because you can say, well, man, the Cats have all this talent: Justin Lamson, Taco Dowler, Adam Jones, Julius Davis. Our guys are just as good. We got Kaylee Ayat and Eli Gilman and Brooks Davis and Evan Schaefer and Michael Wortham and all these dudes. That's not where the disparity lies. The disparity lies up front. And I think that's the number one thing Montana has to address if they want to get over the top. We're going to spend most of the time talking about the Cats and the way that they've gotten now to this national championship game by beating the Grizz twice in the last 28 days. But one last thing on Montana, like, what's just your post-mortem for the Grizzlies? Like, how do you compartmentalize this season? Because it's their second 13-win season in the last 3 years. It just feels distinctly different, though, because of the 2 losses and who they're to, which is just, it's so funny to actually analyze because, like, losing to a dog shit NAU team that went 5-7 on the road when you got embarrassed basically in Flagstaff and then scoring 3 points in the national championship game, you'd think that that would be considered not as good as like going toe to toe with the team that's probably going to win the Natty. But yet it's like way more detrimental from the narrative broadly because like the Grizz very well may be the second best team in the country, but they're also the second best team in their state. And I think that's a really hard thing for people to like absorb and compartmentalize. How would you just put this Grizz season into perspective?
I mean, that's brutal the way you say it, not by your tone, but just by the facts. The way I would describe this Grizz season is they are who we thought they were. You lack on the offensive line, the defensive line. The thing is, Colter, is and I say this all the time, and it still gets taken out of context, which is fine. Bring that on all day. These are what I'm saying is my own personal facts of things I actually see with my eyes and all my football experience. Is Montana probably has a top 10 or 15 offensive line in the country. They probably have a top 15 or 20 defensive line in the country.
Totally.
And guess what? That's not good enough.
Right. Yes,
that's what me and you and Andrew Schmidt and a lot of people on this podcast talk about all the time is that you can't be dogging on these guys. Who's better than the Grizz offensive line? Nobody except the 4 or 5 best teams. And that's not good enough.
Right.
And it's for me, it's cut and dry that way, is that there is no excuse to not have the best offensive line and have the best defensive line in the country. And guess what, folks? You might have all that plus all the skill guys and still lose in the Natty, which were teams that I played on, teams that I saw with my own eyes with the best offensive line in the country and still lose. So right. I would make sure you check yourself on that idea of, well, we're good enough. At this level, it's not good enough until you're the best. And there is no other standard for Montana. So that's how I think about it. But defensively, lots of playmakers. This is my main thing on the Grizz, Colter. And this is when you asked me to do this tonight, I was like, what is my main takeaway for them? Is that they have so many different timelines happening. They have a freshman receiver, a sophomore quarterback, a junior running back, a bunch of senior transfers on defense. Like there is no one that's doing it together with each other on the same timeline. And you don't have to recruit guys as freshmen and just like make sure that they're all fifth-year seniors who had to grind through everything. Sure. But there is a lack of continuity in that. Like Kaylee Ayat's a first-time starter. Brooks Davis is a first-time starter. Evan Schaefer's a third-time transfer. Eli Gilman's all-time leading rusher. We got a medical kid at center. We got a 5 transfers at linebacker who are seniors. All of that lacks a little bit of cohesion. Coach Houck has never he's become the transfer portal wizard, which is crazy that he is now the guy that's going to get 50 transfers a year and really roll the dice on the Casino Royale. But for him and his program through strength and conditioning, all those things, it's always been about earning it. And right now they're kind of having just to anoint some people and finding these broken gaps of timeline. And I think that's where Montana State has not only depth, but has cohesion within that depth. And that's the big difference right now.
Life can change in an instant. If you've been hurt in an accident, suffered from medical negligence, or are facing criminal charges, you don't have to face it alone. At Ryan Miller & Coburn, we're here to listen and fight for you. We're your neighbors, traveling across Montana to stand by your side as your link to justice. Real people, real help, right here in Montana. Ryan Miller & Coburn, your Montana attorneys.
News Breakdown, SkySportsMT.com, probably presented in part by Ryan Miller and Coburn. Ryan Miller and Coburn, your Montana attorneys. Any needs of criminal defense, call them 406-542-2233 or visit online, rmcattorneys.com. The Cats, to get to this point, and the fact that all of the fallout that they had in the last offseason meant literally nothing is the most underrated part of their year. In the last offseason, like I thought the most enlightening interview I've done all season long was with Adam Jones during fall camp. And I have a lot of trust with Adam. You know, I've known him since he was in high school. I went to Sentinel practice the day that he committed to the Cats. So, yeah, I mean, I think he remembers that always because, like, Dane Oliver told me that that was going down, and I got him on the radio, like, you know, moments after he had, you know, put out the tweet that he was going to Montana State. So he trusts me. But he said such revealing things in our preseason interview. He said, last year, when we were in the midst of our national championship run, our team was falling apart. And I don't think a lot of people knew that. But like when 13 guys hit the portal the day after the Natty, those guys have been getting talked to for a month. And I think everybody in-house knew it. Like they knew that Scottrey Humphrey was on the fence, if not out. They knew Rohan Jones was out. And then like the DBs, that was like a conveyor belt. I don't know if all those guys thought they were going to be out, but as soon as one of them was out, they were all like, well, shoot, I'm better than that guy. Because DBs have unwavering, irrational confidence. But as soon as Drew Polidor is going to Cal, well, Andrew Powell's like, well, I'm out. I'm going, you know, and on down the line. So not only do you graduate Tommy Mellott and McCade O'Reilly and Brody Grebe and Marcus Ware, but then you also lose Connor Moore and Scottrey Humphrey and all these other guys, Rohan Jones, guys that are first-team All-Americans to the portal. And then your offensive coordinator and your offensive line coach leave. Then your defensive line coach or your defensive coordinator, Bobby Daly, leaves. You reshuffle your entire staff. I mean, half their staff left. Justin Udy left. Half the staff leaves. There's all the thought about, is Brent Vigen on the way out the door? He was in the mix for 3 different jobs in the offseason. All that stuff could be so much noise that makes it seem like your program's falling apart. And then you lose to North Dakota State in heartbreaking fashion after you just sleepwalk through the first 20 minutes, then finally find your footing. And I think everybody in the organization would tell you that they let one get away. They should have won that game last year. They didn't. And it's their own fault. You can't say they should have. They could have won that game last year. They didn't, but they shouldn't have because they didn't show up. But then to have all that dysfunction and all that turnover, and then to come into this year and give up 60 to Oregon in week 1, and then lose in heartbreaking fashion on a stuffed 4th down in double overtime on Gold Rush for your only regular season loss in the last 6 years on your home field. And then now here you are, and none of it mattered. None of it mattered. You whipped your rival twice. You've won 13 in a row. You're probably going to win the national championship. It's just so crazy that they were able to do this and make all of that noise just completely disappear just by pounding teams for the last 13 weeks straight.
Absolute complete insanity, man. There's only one reason, right, Colter? Is guess how many football games you play a year? 13, right?
Yeah,
14?
I mean, 12 regular season, and if you're the Cats, you're hoping and praying to get to 16. How about Illinois State? We'll get to them in a minute, but they're going to play their 17th game in Nashville because they had to play in the first round.
Wow.
That's the most of the history. That's the most of the history of college football.
Let's call it. Wow.
No team's ever played 17 games. Ouch. I bet you they're feeling great.
26 seniors. They've played some games at this point. So let's say 12. Let's call it 13 games, right? How many days of the year are left, Colter, outside of 13?
Man, 350 something, 352.
350 days. It's not about what you put on the field. That's all a result of all of the training, the mental training, the physical training. This is a cultural strength conditioning. This is a cultural player development through mental coaching, through nutrition coaching, through the things that Montana State has taken to the stratosphere, the things that most FBS programs only wish they had, honestly. I mean, where Montana State has taken the things off the field. As a football player, you only get the chance to play football live and in action maybe 40 times, 50 times a year, maybe, if you're lucky, 50 times. You're talking about 5, 6 scrimmages, 15 games, you're at 20, maybe like 20 live periods during practice, maybe. And again, you're at 40 right there. You might get 50 if you're, an intense program. 50 chances to play football over, 12 months. So it's all about the things that go outside of the program, honestly, outside of the playing field. And that's where Montana State, how were they able to mitigate all of that change that you talked about, all the transfer portal, all of the kind of uprising within the program, all of the, hey, look at us now, we've made it. And how do you get a chip back on your shoulder? That all comes through all of that stuff that's on the outside, or rather on the inside, but outside the football field. It's a huge strength conditioning thing, man. I mean, when I watch Sean Heron, I watch him pregame, I watch the way the players respect him. You could go up and down when you talk about the way that Montana State's institutional control and influence is among their players. It's deeper than you could ever imagine, and it's what North Dakota State has built. South Dakota State has a touch of it, but it's very similar to that North Dakota State model. And you would be remiss to not say that Brent Vigen comes from those roots. It would be silly to not try to implement it.
Well, from Brent Vigen to Sean Howe to Nicholas Jean-Baptiste to Matt Smith, the offensive line coach, all of those guys would tell you straight up, point blank, no question, even if they're all sitting right next to each other, the secret sauce of this organization is Sean Heron, period. And I just think it's an unbelievable story. I've been working on a feature on Coach Heron all year, and we're going to print that. I kind of saved it because I wanted it to have this, what we're talking about, this angle. Like, what is the thing that made these guys not waver despite all of the distractions and all the turnover? And I mean, it's a lot of factors, but he's the leading factor. He is the special sauce, and all those guys would tell you that. Somebody asked me last night, I was hanging out with some buddies, actually getting some social time. And of course, all we did was talk about sports, which was sort of exhausting, but we forged forward. That's what we do. But somebody asked me, they said they implied that they thought it was only a matter of time before Brent Vigen leaves Montana State, and I actually don't think that that's true. And I don't want to have like the whole timeline thing, but I do think
interesting.
I think the fact that he's been in the mix for 5 or 6 jobs in the West that are all like decent to good fits for him. The reason I don't think I think the window's closed now, though, because I think first of all, he is going to put his foot down that he's going to coach his team until his team plays their last game. And I don't think that any middle of the road FBS school that just fired their coach is going to let him do that. If you're going to take over at Kansas State for a guy who's been there for 35 years and is retiring, like Chris Kleiman did, that's different. Kansas State will wait for you. If you need to go rebuild Oregon State immediately, you can't not go that day because you have to go get in the portal and do all this crazy stuff now. And Vigen's just not going to do that. And the Cats are going to be way better next year than they are this year. They only have 9 seniors. I mean, projected they're going to be way better, but they only have 9 seniors. And then they're going to get to the point where once Lamson graduates, now Grant Vigen's going to be your quarterback, and Montana State's going to be knocking on the door of being an FBS program and or being in a new level of Division I football with a group of 5 playoff or whatever merging is coming down the pipe. That's going to happen soon. And if you're Vigen, why would you ever leave now? Like, if you're locked in as the defending national champion with a chance to run it back and go 2 in a row, and you're got the chance to have your kid be your quarterback, you're not leaving, man. And so I just think that there is this hope from people that followed the Grizz and other teams around the Big Sky that the things that's going to save them is if Brent Vigen moves on. I just don't think he's moving on. But even if he did, the structure at Montana State is so strong right now that what would derail them? Like what could derail them? Nothing. I mean, nothing lasts forever. And I mean, people would have said this exact same thing about the Grizz in circa 2004, 2008 or whatever. But the difference is the Grizz weren't stacking natties. The Grizz were chasing natties. I think Montana State has a real chance to go stack some natties right now. So I think that it's a pretty unimpeachable position that Brent Vigen has put himself in, and I think it's pretty dang impressive.
Yeah, you don't have to convince me, man. I've been saying this forever. I mean, what you're saying right now, I'm not even agreeing with. I'm just feeling affirmed in my true belief of that you go take Washington State or Oregon State, those are shitty jobs compared to Montana State. I mean, I get the money. Yes, it's life-changing money, but so is $500,000, you know? I mean, I think we used to think, or someone like me who just kind of casually, when I'm thinking about coaches' salaries, thinks about them as, you know, things that have changed a little bit over the years. They make 180 grand with some bonuses. It's like they make a lot more than that. You know, they make a $500,000 with all this, you know, extra money and the bonuses and the winning that they're doing. And to say that these aren't awesome jobs is just crazy. And where these programs are going and the stability of raising your kids. I mean, I always think about it when I follow Jeff Choate. I hope he hears this because I'd be shocked if he didn't agree with me. But I watch him, I see him post pictures of his family, or I watch, you know, them kind of evolve at the University of Nevada. That there's no way that he wouldn't want to be at Montana State right now. There's just no way that if he could trade it, there's just absolutely no way that he would trade it. And look, Bobby Hauck, yeah, he proved how little he or how much he wanted to trade it. He just came back. He went one time and was like, "That's terrible." Came right back, right?
Right.
Because these things are. When we talk about the quote unquote, I'm not going to say the mecca of FCS football as the stadium. I'm going to talk about it as the programs. Like this is the mountaintop of college football. This is what college football is meant to be, especially as the transfer portal continues to go, especially as you can start to buy players at every level. What Montana State have defines what college football is. And as a college football coach, if you're going to pour your whole heart into it, why wouldn't you want it to matter? Why wouldn't you want your impact to actually be historically relevant? That you didn't buy players, you built players. Like that opportunity with an institution behind you is worth its weight in gold. I couldn't imagine someone wanting to trade that. And you're going to throw in your 6'7" stud athlete of a kid who wants to play quarterback? Like, come on, dude. I mean, let's get real.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Is a will you marry me in your future? Or maybe you do it all over again. Hi, I'm Brian Toon with Jewelry Design Center, inviting you to come see the largest selection of Will You Marry Me in the state of Montana. The brightest diamonds of every shape and size, unique settings built to last, and skilled jewelers on site offering free sizing and maintenance for life, because that's how long we want to be your jeweler. Jewelry Design Center in Missoula, on Brooks, across from the Montana Club.
1959, at Street's Grocery in Whitefish, Montana's special spice was born. Alpine Touch. It's the taste you grew up with, well seasoned through the test of time, as the tradition carries from one Montana generation to the next. From its humble beginnings to a trusted brand, here's to the next 60 years. Alpine Touch. Montana's special spice since 1959.
Is it sacrilege to say that Justin Lamson's as good of a big game quarterback as Tommy Mellott?
Yeah, but that's okay. I'm down. I'm ready to ride.
I mean,
You know how I feel.
Lamson. I mean, it's TBD, right? Because I mean, at the end of the day, the Cats have played. I mean, how many big games have the Cats played so far?
How about this? Justin Lamson's floor is higher than Tommy's. Tommy's ceiling is way higher.
I mean, Justin Lamson has. Tommy Mellott had one good performance against the Grizz in his career, and it wasn't transcendent. It was just good, and that was
different. He's from Butte. It's so different.
Totally,
it's so different.
Tommy Mellott went superhuman in the playoffs in 2021. That's the craziest shit I've ever seen in my life. I mean, that's the run he went on, like when he was freaking out nervous in his first start against Tennessee Martin for 3 quarters, and you're like, man, Vigen made the wrong move. They shouldn't have done this. They should have done the McKay thing. Malot's not ready. He can't handle it. They're going to blow this. They're going to blow Troy Anderson's senior season. And then Tommy had that 75-yard touchdown run that busted the game wide open. From that moment on, he just went Superman. And like when people say you're just making excuses for the Cats when Tommy got hurt in Frisco, I don't know, man. He was at another level. Like he was so out of his mind that who knows what would have happened if he doesn't get hurt in that game, because he had already beat the number one team in the country basically by himself on the road when they beat Sam Houston. He'd already thrown for 250 and rushed for another 150 against South Dakota State to get to the championship. So I mean, those are moments that are unforgettable. But I mean, Lamson just went 31 of 38 for like 400 something yards passing in his 2 games against the Grizz. Rushed for over 125 yards, 6 total touchdowns. I mean, the dude balled out of his mind. He also, was the definitive factor against UC Davis. He was good against Stephen F. Austin. So I mean, I don't know, man.
You're right, man. You're right. No,
he's got a pretty good resume so far. He just won a single season.
The floor is higher. It's a higher floor. Justin Lamson playing against the Grizz in Missoula was not the culmination of his entire life. Okay, it's such a different thing. It was a game. Like, did he understand all of the? Yes, he understands it. Is it a huge? Yes. Was he nervous? Yes, of course. This is not the second coming of, the Lady of the Rockies. This isn't like Colt Anderson's protege. This isn't like the son of Butte. Okay, it's a different thing. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah,
I mean, the level of pressure and the level of when Justin Lamson was 9 years old, he didn't go to sleep thinking about playing in Cat-Grizz. Okay, Tommy Malott has his entire life.
Totally.
Okay, so it's a little bit of a different weighted scale. Tommy's ceiling is higher than almost anyone we've ever covered. I mean, Troy Anderson would be the only guy that really flirts with it, but Tommy's ceiling is as high as it gets. But when Tommy was young, he'd throw some grounders. You could find me on this pod. You could find me on this pod. He'd be throwing junky balls and not finding rhythm. And that's not Justin Lamson. Okay, he's a FBS trained Stanford kid, all the 9 years.
Yeah.
I understand what you're getting at. Go win a natty. We can talk.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess that is what I'm getting at, is that Malott needs to find a flow state to be at his best.
Lamson does not.
Whereas Lamson can operate pretty well, even when he's just middle of the road, steady Eddie. Big Show Breakdown, brother, presented by Town Pump. Town Pump's helping us get down to Nashville. Can't thank those guys enough for all their continued support of everything we got going on here at Skyline Sports. Brawl the Wild by the mile, but this is a cross-country trip that Town Pump's sending us on. So Town Pump is so generous and so awesome. They have been Montana's best for more than 6 decades. No matter where you're at in Montana, there is a Town Pump near you.
Join Town Pump's Pump It Up Rewards Plus program and never pay full price for fuel again.
Save 5 cents on every gallon every day at any Town Pump across Montana.
Plus, earn and redeem points on your favorite in-store items to get free stuff with our clubs.
Stop in and pick up a rewards card. Download the Pump It Up Rewards Plus app today.
Or visit townpump.com/rewards to register and start saving.
So much buildup now to Nashville. The Cats have to go win this sucker, right? Like I was talking with Ty Gregorak about this last week on Nuanez Now, our daily ESPN radio show. The Grizz won the national championship game in the semifinals at least twice, if not 3 times, during Bobby Houck's first tenure when Coach Ty was coaching for Coach Houck. The 2008 game when the Grizz went to cross the country and beat James Madison, that was the national championship. But then the Grizz lost the national championship the next week to a Richmond team that was unseeded and had no business beating them, and they beat the pants off the Grizz. Same thing.
Lawrence
Sidbury and Josh Vaughn. I'll never forget him. Never forget him. I drove across the country in a Cadillac Coupe de Ville to watch that game, and it was so depressing afterwards. We went to a whiskey bar in downtown Chattanooga and drank the bar out of whiskey They were out of whiskey. Needless to say, we had fun time. Sort of fun time. Sad time.
How was the drive home? Really good.
Yeah, well, that's why I got a speeding ticket going 120 in South Dakota, but that's a different story for a different.
We're not allowed in South Dakota, folks.
Thank God I've never had to go back there. But then 09, I mean, you were on that team. The national championship game was in Missoula when App State lost, and the Armani Edwards
won the natty, bro. Won that. Woo!
And then lost to Villanova the next
going loose.
So how important? I mean, you can't overstate how important it is for Montana State to go beat Illinois State next week.
If you understand anything about anything, is that this is the most high pressure game that the Big Sky Conference has faced in 30 years. I mean, I can't imagine one outside of the Grizz playing Marshall those 2 years. If you go lose this game, I don't really know where you go from there, man. It's a must win. They're all must win.
Yeah.
This is the most must win game I have ever, so much more than what we just experienced in the Super Brawl. It's not even on the same stratosphere about how much must win this is.
Yeah, man. I mean, Illinois State was barely into the playoffs. I mean, Illinois State was like fighting their way into the last week of the regular season to even get into the playoffs. They've been on the road the whole time. Think about this. Illinois State has twice as many road playoff wins in the last month than the Cats and the Grizz do combined in their entire history. Think about how crazy that is. 4 road playoff wins in a row. Wild. So if you're the Cats, though, you've been chilling at home. Like, I mean, it's not that they haven't had big games, but like, it's not the same level of wear and tear on your body. And so, yeah, you have to go get this done. If you're Montana State, it's as simple as that. It's absolutely a must win. What do you think about this being in Nashville? We've done the Frisco thing. Frisco's cool. There was such this weird advantage though, especially for North Dakota State, because like they just would go down there in droves, and for whatever reason, like Frisco was like a destination for the people of Fargo and the people that followed NDSU more than any of the other fan bases. Certainly, like people just loved it. They loved going to Frisco. Fargo South is what they called it. But now you got a new venue, a new host city, and 2 teams that haven't played in it. So I mean, what do you think of just the change in venue and the fact that it's Nash Vegas?
Yeah, I mean the change in venue is cool. Frisco as a town isn't my favorite. To each their own. I'm not into it. It's not really even a town. It's a suburb. It's a town next to a town next to a town,
right.
Which is fine. I mean that's there's a lot of places like that in the country. And if you're from Frisco, good on you. It's pretty flat in Frisco. It's also a soccer stadium. It would be great to play this thing in a football field, in a football stadium on a football field. That would be, I think, optimal. The fact that the field has played any relevance in the game is absolutely pathetic, and I don't really buy into that kind of stuff. And guess what? It's so real, it's insane. I have been there.
Yeah.
How many times? 5 times? 4 times? 5 times?
4 times. 5 times. 5 times.
5 times. Okay, and I promise you, it is the craziest field. It's a amazing stadium. It's an awesome field for the right sport. It's not meant to be played with football. And this time of year, it's winter in Texas. People don't understand that. It's maybe winter in Tennessee as well, but it's winter in Texas. In Dallas, Texas, it is cold. It is 40 or 50 degrees.
So cold last year.
It's raining. The field is destroyed. It's like sand. It's not meant to be a football field. So,
yeah.
And it's at the National Soccer Hall of Fame. Like that's what like the premier. It's like, can we play this at a football field, please? Like,
right. Like we're going
so
to
that
Texas
part would be
to
cool.
not play at a football field. Like that's just crazy, man. How many football fields are there in Dallas? Like what are we doing? Play it on a football field.
The fact that it's at like now a SEC stadium with like 45,000 people and there's going to be like less than 20 there that's a little concerning. That part will kind of suck. The fact that the whole place is under renovation is interesting. Nashville's freaking awesome, man. I know you haven't been. I have. I got to go 2 years ago for a week and I had the time of my life, man. I had as much fun as I've had going anywing anywhere. I was with a great group of people. shout out Shine Beer Sanctuary, Travis and Julie, my homies over there. Check them out in Bozeman over on Church and Main. But man, Nashville goes so hard. It also is so family friendly and is so fun and so accommodating and so welcoming and so southern and so country music and so food, and it is as good and fun of a place as you could have something like this. So for all the fans, if you ever had any hesitation, obviously by this time you're listening to this, you're already booked. There's no more opportunity for you to go. Next year when you get a chance to go, do it, because it is tremendous. Nashville is as good as it gets.
Shine Beer Sanctuary is leading the charge when it comes to promoting beer culture in Montana. Located at the corner of Church and Main and downtown Bozeman, the locally owned and operated tap house and bottle shop has the best beer selection in the Treasure State. The bar has 32 rotating beers on tap with everything from Duvel to local ciders, gluten-free beers, and non-alcoholic options. The bottle shop has more than 400 beer offerings from all over the world, and Shine offers Cicerone-trained beer guides. Come enjoy beer heaven at Shine Beer Sanctuary in Bozeman.
You're not just a case. You're not just a client. You're a person, and you deserve support. You deserve simplicity. You deserve communication. When you hire an attorney, you deserve clear, risk-free advice that guides you to the best possible outcome in your injury case. And that's exactly what the advocates have been providing for over 30 years. After your accident, you deserve closure. You deserve compassion. You deserve peace of mind. You deserve an advocate.
Also, thanks to our great friends at the Advocates. Remember, the snow is here, so navigating the road safely will become a challenge while you're out shopping for holiday treasures or traveling to visit family or doing anything during the winter season. If you're injured in an accident that wasn't your fault, you deserve an advocate. You can chat with the experienced, award-winning attorneys at no cost to you. Call 406-640-4444 today or chat online at montanaadvocates.com. The Advocates, you deserve an advocate. Okay, last thing then, what are the things that you're thinking about this week if you're Montana State to go get this thing done? Like, is it the 1-0 mentality that they always talk about? Are you just operating normal? Are you doing anything different? Like, this team isn't as spectacular as the last two teams that they've sent to the national championship, and yet they're so much more well-rounded and sound. And I think that's what makes them so great. So I don't know if you do change anything. What do you think? Does Montana State have to focus on anything else or sharpen its sword in any way coming into this crescendo for their season?
No, I think that they do what they do. It's just like Cat-Grizz in the sense that you have to go take this game. You can't go play this game. You have to go absolutely seize every piece of it and take it. And there is no like, well, let's counterpunch. Let's see what they do. Scrap all of it. Go take the game. That's exactly what they need to do.
Yep, I think that's exactly right. And we'll have more breakdowns on Illinois State. There actually is some fun, interesting Montana connections here. Several of the guys on Illinois State's staff were at Montana with Bob Stitt. Travis Niekamp, who was the special teams coordinator for the Grizz. I always really liked Coach Niekamp. That was back in the good old days when we could interview assistants. I really liked Niekamp when he would come on my ESPN show, and his son is a stud. His son is the best player for Illinois State. So that's
really cool. When I saw that, it kind of warmed my heart. I thought that was awesome.
I mean, dude's a baller, man. His statistics are absurd, and he's awesome. Matt Nicholson's the strength coach, so there's some Montana ties. I know Brock's back for a really long time. He's been there since 2009, and he's had some good playoff runs. So we'll have some more information on them, some more lead-up coverage. We're also going to get all the Skyline guys on the call. We're taking a big crew down there, so we'll have hits with JP Flynn and Mike Ryder, our two main Bobcat analysts, but we'll also have hits with Blake Hempstead and Jason Bocci, who have both been staring down the lens and done a great job covering the Cats for us. 10 home games in Bozeman this year, 19 over the last 2 years, and they've really helped us. And then, of course, we'll have the man, Tom Stuber, jumping on as well. And we're going to fill in the blanks in a lot of different other places as well. So make sure to keep it tuned. And thanks to all of our fun sponsors for getting us down there. Thanks to the R-Bar. Rockin' R-Bar will be showing the game, of course, on Monday. Thanks to Town Pump. Couldn't have done this trip without them. Thanks to the Advocates, of course, for sponsoring our road to Nashville. Bob Ward, Sports and Outdoors in Missoula, is also helping us make the trip as well. So much to come. This is the first of many. And we're excited to be making the trip to Nashville, Tennessee. So anything else to add before I get you out of here?
Let's go. I mean, we got to get a natty, man. We've been doing Skyline for coming up on 12, 11, 12
I moved
years.
back to Montana in 2010, and the Big Sky has not won the national championship since I moved back. I was young then. I'm old. We got to get a natty.
Got to get it done, man. I can't keep going to Frisco, Texas. You're going to start sending me to Nashville. You're going to start sending me to Madrid, Spain soon. I mean, let's get the natty. Let's bring it back to Montana. No matter what side you get on, let's get this Big Sky Conference thing done.
Brooks Nuanez, Colter Nuanez, SkylineSportsMT.com. More to come. Thanks for being here.